it's an interesting digression from this from the subject to use that as an example. But that story I'll come back on in another video series to get to the heart of that issue. And of course, I'm sure that the Americans and Europeans and the English will work together to solve that problem, because 15 trillion dollars in the international system, if it's fake money, is a lot of inflation, and inflation reduces the amount of resources we can buy on the open market. But of course, what this video is getting to is the contradictions within the assumptions that we make about money and its various different concepts. You know, currency, commodities, investments, assets, debt, which are all just signals. You know, in price. I'll just go over what I just said again. So if we have commodity money, gold money, this would be another distortion, just like the petrodollar, as it still relies on the manipulation of price signals of all commodities based on a single commodity that is held, yet again by enemies of the West, rather than the definition of real money. All goods and services equal utility defined by the exploration of total resources by technology. So money is both a totality in conception, i.e. all the energy, all the utility of all resources extracted by technology within the context of the information that we know. Okay. But real money volumes can grow as technology allows utility to grow. So this signal could be reflected in currency based on a complete index of goods and services, and maybe also that would be based on commodities. You know, goods being the finished product of all commodities, perhaps is a better marker of their utility to human beings in economic actions. And you know, economic actions are only done to improve our lives, you know, to allow us to have a good productive life, so that we can understand reason, to be apt to the conditions, and to survive as a species by reproducing, having larger families and everything else. Now I'm going to digress slightly to explain something that's just come to my mind about gold and versus Keynesianism, in terms of which I'll critique later, about the sort of elitism of Keynesianism as used by the Fed. Now, of course, you can attach the word Keynesianism to what we use today, but of course, as other economists have said, such as Steve Keen, what is used as Keynesianism today, or the word, is not actually what Keynes wrote in his book. The general theory. But people who want the gold commodity standard, which Ron Paul has said that it should be able to be put in, gold should be legalized as currency to compete against paper fiat currency, is obviously a seemingly elegant strategy, because it gives consent to people to use the money that is going to give them the most value. And of course, if the currency, which is fiat, produced by the central bank, is inflated, then obviously those people holding gold either as currency or in bank vaults as an asset, an investment in that commodity, are going to increase their wealth. But that would only be a psychological value we're putting on the material that is gold, because of its scarcity and because of its material properties of it being practically indestructible. But that doesn't solve the problem of access to currency by all people. You know, obviously, if you have gold coins for everyone in the United States, and you're going to need some, because there are limits to the amount of coins that can be produced. Or, my idea would be to have gold as a sort of electronic signal, gold's value as an electronic signal via the internet to a electronic card. This is an idea I had in the past when I subscribed to the gold standard view. So that the fluctuation of gold would be reflected in what was on your card, But of course, in the value of that you can buy goods and services. But of course, the flaw of this idea, which I'll admit, is that the inflation and deflation of gold, caused by speculation on which is always on the margin, of how much gold could be produced or how much gold is hidden away, is going to cause the same kind of speculation that treating houses in the US property bubble caused. And so inflation and deflation can be used by speculators which might be offshore of the United States, not under US law, and might be part of either legal or criminal activity. It would be able to, if a large minority or majority of people held gold, then that could be manipulated for the ends of those speculators. If you have a central bank, it's kind of like a dog tethered to your lead, which you can rein in. And if it gets rabies, if it goes rogue, like the Federal Reserve seems to be doing, you can obviously get rid of it. The university system which produces these economists can change its ways of teaching, or the military or intelligence services and banking system can shut down a rogue central bank. How do you shut down people who are in the Russian mafia? Because Russia and South Africa are gold producing countries, and they can manipulate the supply of gold just like the Saudis can manipulate the supply of oil. Saudis and Bin Laden crime families can manipulate the supply of oil, which is then going to lead you to a situation where you're going to need fiat money to devalue gold or increase the value of gold. And so you're back to the trap that is the same as the petrodollar. And so also